The hum of the Starship's engines filled the narrow corridor, a constant reminder that I was nowhere near home. I had volunteered for this mission out of curiosity and necessity, an exploratory expedition into uncharted systems, but I hadn't expected the first contact to be here. I paused in front of the observation deck, staring out at the swirling nebulae. The colors shifted from violet to gold, waves of light bending in ways that defied normal physics. I was lost in thought when I felt it, a presence behind me. "Your eyes don't lie, human." I turned sharply, almost bumping into her. She stood there casually, one hip cocked, her tail flicking behind her in a motion that was both graceful and predatory. Her skin shimmered faintly in the dim lights, an iridescent sheen that seemed to shift with her emotions. Her eyes were sharp, intelligent, and piercing eyes that seemed to look past the surface and into my thoughts. I blinked, caught off guard. I wasn't staring. My voice sounded weak even to me. Her smirk widened. "Don't bother lying. I can see what you're thinking." I swallowed hard, trying to regain composure. "All right, maybe I was a little impressed by your appearance." She laughed, a sound that was musical and slightly dangerous, like a song meant to lure sailors to their doom. "Impressed? Human, you're practically drooling." I flushed, realizing how exposed I must have seemed. I didn't mean to offend." "You haven't offended me," she interrupted smoothly, stepping closer. The subtle sway of her movements made my pulse quicken. "In fact, it's flattering. But you must understand, you're in my territory now." I glanced around nervously. The observation deck was vast, with transparent panels revealing the infinite void outside, and I was alone with an alien who could read my thoughts. "Territory?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She tilted her head, as if amused by my ignorance. "Yes. This ship, this system, even this deck, everything belongs to me, and anyone who wanders here without permission becomes interesting." Interesting. I noted the subtle threat in her tone, but also the undeniable curiosity. Somehow, I found myself both terrified and captivated. "I'm Captain Ryan," I said cautiously. "Exploration team." I didn't know anyone else would be aboard. Her eyes sparkled. "I know. I always know." I felt a shiver run down my spine. She stepped closer still, close enough that I could see the tiny patterns on her skin, bioluminescent lines that pulsed with each beat of her heart. She reached out, her hand hovering near mine, but never touching. "Curiosity," she said softly. "It's a dangerous thing, human. And yet, I find it endearing." I swallowed. I have questions." Her smirk softened into a smile that was almost kind. "And I have answers. But answers come at a cost." I frowned. "A cost?" Her gaze held me, and I realized I wasn't thinking about the cost in terms of danger. No, this was something else entirely. My heart beat faster, my thoughts becoming disorganized. "I'll accept the cost," I said, almost without thinking. She laughed again, lightly, like the chime of crystal bells. "Brave, or foolish? Perhaps both." Then she moved, and before I could react, she pressed a hand against my chest. Her touch was electric, sending a shockwave of sensation through me. "Feel that," she whispered. "That's curiosity meeting reality. That's the first lesson, human." I stumbled back slightly, but she steadied me with a hand on my shoulder. Her eyes locked onto mine, unyielding and mesmerizing. "You think you can explore the stars, understand the unknown, and remain unscathed. But the truth is, you'll never be the same after this." I tried to find words, but none came. Instead, I felt a pull, an almost magnetic attraction that defied reason. Her smirk deepened. "See? I told you your eyes don't lie." "What do you mean?" I asked, though I knew the answer. I can read more than your thoughts. I can feel your intentions, your fears, even your desires. And right now, human, I can feel something very interesting. I swallowed hard. My training, my logic, all of it screamed at me to step back, to be cautious. But my instincts, the ones I rarely trusted, told me that this encounter was something beyond explanation. Something I couldn't ignore. She moved again, circling me like a predator examining its prey, or perhaps a teacher testing a student. Most humans would panic, or fight. You are different. You hesitate, you consider, you feel. And that makes you fascinating. I felt a heat rise in my chest, not from exertion but from the intensity of her gaze. Fascinating? I repeated, almost in disbelief. Yes, she said, her voice dropping to a near whisper. You are fascinating. But fascination can be dangerous. It can be a weakness, human, if you are not careful. I stepped back, trying to regain my composure. And what if I don't care about the danger? Her smirk became a full smile, and for a moment, she seemed almost vulnerable, almost human in her expression. Then perhaps, she said softly, we are destined to teach each other something neither of us expected. The lights on the deck dimmed slightly as the ship passed through a field of cosmic dust, the stars outside sparkling like a million tiny fires. She took a step closer, so close that I could feel the warmth radiating from her. Lesson 1, human, she whispered, her lips almost brushing my ear. Curiosity is never innocent. It is a choice. And now, you have chosen. I nodded, though my mind was a blur. I choose. Her smile widened, a mixture of triumph and amusement. Good. Then let the lessons begin. And in that moment, floating in the endless void of space, I realized that exploration wasn't just about the stars, it was about the beings you met along the way, the connections you couldn't predict, the experiences that would change you forever. Her eyes met mine again, and the smirk returned. Remember, human, she said, your eyes don't lie. And I will always see what you feel. I swallowed, my pulse racing. And, will you always be here? For now, she said, stepping back but never breaking eye contact. For now. As I watched her retreat into the shadows of the observation deck, I knew one thing with certainty. This mission, this journey, would never be the same. I had met something extraordinary, something beyond human comprehension. And somehow, I wanted to see where it would lead. The hum of the engines continued, steady and unrelenting, and I turned back to the stars. But this time, I didn't feel alone. I felt watched, understood, and strangely, unafraid. Because I knew she would be there, somewhere between the light of the stars and the shadow of the ship, waiting to see what I would do next. And I had no intention of disappointing her.